Hi. Okay, so I thought today would be like a really wonderful day since everybody is just like freaked out what's happening around the world ever since agreement came. First was the Iran crashed this deal, and now everybody feels like this deal is not worth it. I decided to talk a little bit about this deal so people can have a better understanding if you're an Israeli from India, whatever. I bet you're someone Indian on my channel, you would probably understand this a little bit better, knowing some Indians have okay relationship with the Saudis, right? And so does, well, America. Let me explain how does this deal work, because it's going to help people out in so many ways that people didn't really, well, imagine that. So it's time to just bring into the picture here. What does this deal do? Now this deal, it's no ordinary deal, my friends. It's a really, really, really big deal. It's not about buds. It's not about who happily ever after. None of that. So when I seen one of the Israeli politicians say that we've been on our own for 77 years, well, you know what? Past the 77 years, Mohammed bin Salman was not here, and Saudi had corrupt leaders too in the beginning, before Mohammed bin Salman arrived. The guy you are talking to now is the crown prince himself, who made the changes, got rid of extremism, got rid of everything. He's the guy you would want to make an agreement with compared to the leaders before him. And that's who they were. If the leaders were there before him, they never thought about this. And when Israel was like new, almost anything you could picture, nobody thought about the peace agreement, nothing. That's all the leaders who are before him. Okay? Now, Mohammed bin Salman is a really practical guy. You may see him as a bad for him, but he is. He's really practical. He believes in secularism. He believes in freedom. And he believes in the country changes, which is what Saudi is standing today, because America helped it invest and build where it's at today. Now, let's talk about this deal. How does it affect the Middle East, okay? Saudi is not a country who's interested in Islamist or the Syrian violence, all this violence. It's not just that type of country. It does not believe it. That's why Saudi's militants are not that powerful, because they didn't really war with anybody compared to how Iran did. Iran probably got into the most wars compared to Saudi itself, which is why they compete with each other. Saudi is rich because Saudi believes that building the country is better than warring. Iran ripped off his people because Iran believes in warring. So there's a difference between how these two nations stand in the Muslim and the Arab world, okay? And why does it affect Israel? Okay, Iran believes in wars. Nothing's going to get changed till Reza Pahlavi have his seat back, okay? Iran believes in wars. That's why the country economy is falling. Saudi Arabia's military is not that powerful. It believes in building the country and making its way up with all the nations, which is why it stands today. Now, how does this affect Israel? Let me tell you, my friends. Oh, it does. It does, because the Islamists taking Saudi Arabia joining Israel as a defeat. Hello, people walking in. I thought today would be a wonderful day to talk about this. And anybody who's Indian on my channel, please educate people. I would love to hear your questions, what I'm about to talk about. And since Israelis trust Indians the most, I want all my Indian fans to educate my talk today. That's the big thing on my channel today. If you're anyone in India on my channel, educate, so people know, because I know you guys have good relations with everybody except for my country, Pakistan, but I love Hindus anyway. That's nothing related to today. Okay, so Saudi, what do you call it? Saudi, if it just ties up with Israel, Islamists are going to take that as a defeat, a big one, a big defeat, thinking that, hey, Saudi broke this law, yada, 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 and Pakistan's the only country who pretty much is like, I was just sitting this in the car and talking to, well, my brother, and he's like, the biggest country in the Muslim nation is Pakistan. Saudi, they're compared to, well, you know, these baby countries like Syria and things like that. So I'm like, how will this have an impact? And my brother told me that Pakistan's going to join because it wants to be part of Saudi, and all these are Islamist defeat. Did you know that today 3 journalists Iran shot down in Pakistan because it's so freaked out of Pakistan's participation in the Middle East, even though the camera is trying to keep it behind the doors of Pakistan's participation, not showing it on media too much because of what's going on, right? So Saudi, it doesn't believe in warring. It doesn't believe in Islamists. It doesn't believe in it should waste its money on wars. That's what Iran is about. That's why that's why they debate each other. That's why they yell at each other that why can't you use it on the country than to wars. So this is a big achievement. Now, how does this protect Israel? Let me tell you, my friends, it does. It does. When Saudi's powers combine it with Israel, It's going to give new rules, it's going to give new atmosphere, it's going to give new Muslim countries an impact. Being with Israel, be like, okay, they're getting along, why can't we get along? UAE is doing just fine, isn't it? UAE signed the peace agreement in 2009, didn't it? And Azerbaijan, I'm not sure for Oman, but these ones for sure, right? So all these places did a peace agreement in 2019. They seem to be doing just fine. And I hear on Israel's channels that UAE recently just bought land in Israel and it's ready to invest. Now, Islamists, like these weirdo psychopaths who does not believe in the state of Israel, they're like, oh, look at all these Arab states, yada, yada, yada. They're trying to be Zionists. Well, actually, they can help Israel build a better force because they're not cowardly countries. They're pretty smart countries who want to lift Israel hand that, hey, we're ready to support you now. We don't care about the Islamists. We would just want to be a better force because if you look at the map, here's Israel, here's UAE and Saudi, right behind Israel, the land, right? So then to sit there, because Saudi does not want to deal with Islamists either. Every time there's a mess, Saudi's stuck in the middle of a mess. Like, okay, what the hell happened? Why are we stuck? And the leaders always pull in Saudi. Like, look what happened there. Look what happened now. Help us out. Oh, Saudi always gets stuck. So Saudi is to a point, it is done. It doesn't want to deal with these problems anymore. It really doesn't. Hi, Wolf Master. Hello, my fans. How are you doing today? I would love to know your questions today. Who agrees that Israel should do the peace deal? Give me your honest opinion. Who agrees Israel should do the peace deal? It's going to make it easier for America if Israel and Saudi can work together, and less for America to be involved. The only reason America is involved because nothing is in control for Israel's safety. Saudi is not in the line. UAE is not powerful. It may be good in the money, but it's not powerful in the military to give all its defense to Israel. If Trump is out, what do you mean by Trump is out? Let's hear your opinion. I like to hear all my fans' opinions. What do you mean if Trump is out? It doesn't matter if you're Jew, Christian, Hindu, whatever you're on my channel. I like to listen to everybody's thoughts. Then they can stop war. Well, okay, Trump has one point about this deal, okay? If Saudi Arabia and Israel can make it work, then he doesn't really have a role play in the Middle East because they can take care of each other together than for Trump to babysit everybody in the Middle East just to see who's safe, you know? That's the good point of this deal. That, hey, okay, we can work together and we can work together with a better military system, defense against the Islamists. That's one benefit from this deal. The other better benefit from this deal, just like Jordan participated, Azerbaijan participated, is that the opposite side, as in the leftist, I'm not referring to politics, I'm preferring leftist to the map. Leftist side, who's all up front in front of Israel's border, ready to go boom, 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 ready to shoot the state. Those neighbors like Yemen, Syria, and Iraq. Iraq didn't do anything this time, right? So the concept is with Saudi on the side, they'll be a little bit afraid that Saudi might get mad that, okay, Saudi Arabia's agreement with Israel, they wouldn't dare to war the Saudi Arabia. That's going to create Muslim catastrophe. You know what a Muslim catastrophe is? Because Saudi holds the holy sites. Warring Saudi means affecting every single Muslim on the planet if you affect Saudi, because it holds the holy site. Now, joining with Israel, it is going to make it powerful, yes. Yes, people that just don't see it, but it is. It is. Okay? Now, what can Saudi do for Israel? I can tell you, you can combine your military. It already has Pakistan's military agreement. You can build better investments because Arab money is not no lame money. Dharam, man, when my sister went to Dubai and I asked her how much was a sandwich, she told me she got just a bag of potato chips and a sandwich, and I believe she just got juice in the hotel, right? And it was like 20 dharam. 20 dharam, I'm like, for that little thing, it's not even a meal. That little thing, it was so much dharam. And in American dollars, that's like what? $25 just for a juice and a bag of potato chips? You'd be like, for a minute, what the hell? It's not even a meal. So dharams are no ordinary things. UAE dharams or Saudi dharams or Arab dollars, whatever you want to call them, right? They have worth, man. If you double them with the shekels, they hold power in the country. That's why UAE is doing it. UAE is not doing it because, it butts. It knows the Israelis' business, the shekels, it has worth. Shekels have worth, and the dirhams have worth. The UAE dirhams, they have worth. So this is called exchanging and doing business together. Those who have the money, you can do it. Funny Wi-Fi, your name is Steen, QA sticker. Oh, who are you? Try. I found a pop-up under my name. I have no idea who it is. But honestly, I want to hear everybody's opinion. That what do you feel? Okay, it's going to be easier on America that, hey, Israel has safety now. I don't need to go back and forth to this place, that place, to come to an agreement to stop attacking Israel. It's going to make it easier on America to less interfere too, because you're going to have your boundaries, and they can give you a better estimate by talking it over with you direct, like, hey, how to stop this, than to involve America. That's another beneficial thing from this deal, that, hey, if you guys can work it out together, what do you need America for? The only reason America's here, because there's no compromise. There's one Jewish state and Arabs all over the place. Then Lebanon has its own problems. So it's a jungle madness all over that Holy Land, okay? You have to come together eventually, or these wars or these issues, these weirdo problems, they're just going to continue, and America's going to like, what to do? That's going to be America eventually, like, what to do? How to get you guys to stop? What to do? And that is Trump currently. So this agreement is not just because, we need to be friends. It's an impact. And it's also competition, not just like, buddy. It's a competition too. When Saudi does, even though Saudi's on the same path as, Israel, the only reason Saudi wants to give Palestinian, even though there's a teeny tiny portion of Gaza, the only reason Saudi wants them to have a state, so Saudi doesn't have to babysit them anymore. Saudi's tired of babysitting them, because whatever issue comes, it always goes into Saudi's hair. Like, you're not doing anything. You're the power of the Muslim world. You're not doing anything for us. Because it's tired of it. It's tired of babysitting them too. What more could it possibly do? So that's the only thing, because Saudi's not going to take them. Jordan's not going to take them. Iraq is not going to take them. Kuwait's not going to take. Nobody is, because of their liberation, right? The only people who really support him are the Syrians. Which is why you can never reason with the Syrian. I call it, even today, if Jelani's over there, I call it a miracle will Syria ever change. I'm not looking for the Druze, I'm not looking for the Alawites, I'm not looking for the Syrian Christians. I'm looking for a serious freaking change down there. Every year there's a new story, somebody got killed or something. That's nothing new. That's been going on for the past 77 years. I mean, I was talking on the space yesterday, right, guys? I don't know if I have any Christians watching me today, right? It was an American Protestant, and I believe some Christians were from Russia and Lebanon, and I believe American Protestants said that, okay, you have to be a Zionist or you're not a real Christian, right? So those Christians who are Orthodox Christians, they got really offended. Like, what do you mean we're not a real Christian? Excuse you, what do you mean? And me and, of course, Muslims and Jews, we were just watching while Christians were arguing with each other. Like, what do you mean we're not real Christians? Excuse you? Because, you see, Christian history is very, very important in the Middle East, okay? Lebanon, even though it's the oldest Christian country in the world, but that's where the Phoenicians took place in early history. I looked that up, and it was hard to believe. 4 or 5 people of us tried to match the puzzle here. And the Jordanians on the Holy Land used to be the Hashemites. And Great Iraq was the days of the Babylon, right? So when Israelites conquered the land, they fought a religion called I hope I say it right, polytheism. And some people say that's paganism, where they believed in multiple land. So everybody, so that's how they launched, Judaism. Israelite, come through the Torah, you come to the land in the name of God, but you had to knock out the religion that's over there, which is polytheism. And Christianity, it was made when obviously Jesus was Jewish, days of the Romans. I already know about that. Days of the Romans, it had its own thing. The only thing Jesus said is that, hey, some laws I do not agree with, you should change in Judaism, and that's what Jews disagree with. And then, of course, the birth of Christianity, where Jews became fully Christians, and then all the other tribes of Christianity, first, I believe, Catholicism, Orthodox, and late, I believe, like early, I believe that's the early days, some Protestants, right? But later, when the West culture arrived, like America and all these West countries, they're more into evangelicals and Protestants, these West nations as of today that arrived after the Ottoman Empire war. That's who they are. They're evangelicals and Protestants, right? More of those compared to old Christians, you know? So my point, Christians are divided. You may not know it, but they are. Like Nigerians in Africa are considered like, you know, black culture Christians, right? Catholics, but do you really think they're ready to seek for help with the Americans? I want to ask somebody that question. If you're America on my page, do you really think they're going to accept the American help? The way I see those presidents, all of them are Christians. The Nigerian presidents, they're all Christians. Nobody's a Muslim over there. They're all Christians, right? So when I see Nigerians like say that, okay, we're Muslims and Christians, we die together, this is our country, we know how to handle it, good or bad is our problem. They just don't want Americans involved, and it makes no sense, right? It's a Christian country, why wouldn't you want help? They just don't. That's why Christians are divided. And when I was studying their country, I believe the Nigerians would be under Catholicism. And some Christians say they're not real Christians because Catholic, but a Christian can decide better on that one. I'm just sharing facts, what their history says, right? So a lot of the Christian countries are divided. Valencia, right, who Trump is about to fight, that's also a Christian country. And Valencia also has terrorist organizations who Trump wants to fight. And let me tell you something, my friends, those terrorist organizations are no damn Islamists. I don't know who they are. They started selling drugs or something like that, but they are terrorists. So the globe is having its own little fight. And people are just arguing each other about religion when that is really redundant. All the religions had a time period. Israelites came through a conquest, fought the polytheists, which is why Iraqis don't accept Judaism. If you're going to talk to an Iraqi, the first thing Iraqi is going to say that I reject Judaism because the early history of Babylon. And polytheism took over there, and they reject anything related to Judaism and call it a fake religion because of that history of Babylon, who they fought. Right? Now the Jews reject Islam because they feel like, well, times of Arabia, there was no Saudi Arabia, but there was Arabia. And the Arabian Peninsula is where the Arabs lived. They conquered through there, and Christianity had its own period, you know? That's what me and some of my Christian friends were talking about, that I wouldn't say Christianity exactly conquered. I don't see anything like that other than the empire changes. But the only thing I do know is when the Romans took place, and Romans like had their own thing for Christianity and wanted to make it the official religion, that's where disagreements came. That's where disagreements came when Romans wanted to make the Christianity the official religion. And that's where many disagreement came with the Jews, the Romans, and I guess the story of the Second Temple, the Romans, right? And then, of course, Jesus himself, how he got crucified throughout that times. So I wouldn't say Christianity was a conquer religion, according to early periods of time. But later, when Christians developed, they had their own specific differences, their wars, and they took land too. In fact, the Iranians, right? Iranians were Zoroastrians, and later they converted to Christianity. And the lands that Christians bought, some of the lands later came Islam. But some Christians, they took their other countries, which is why there's more Christians than Jews and Muslims combined. There's only 67 Muslim countries. There's about like 120 Christian countries. Now that's a lot of research, man. You gotta research them one by one, what are they under, what do they practice, what are they under? Yes, Christians did their own thing. When they got powerful, they did their own war, they did their own things, right, you know? So that's why I say, if anybody says who's a Christian, it's really useful when Christians educate their own history and study it real good, including which lands they took and who they fought in the history, just like the Native Americans, or like the Spain Empire days where Christians fought people and put it under slavery, you know? So Christians have their own history. I wouldn't say the religion was to conquer, maybe in the late Native American days, but not this. But yeah, so my point being that as of today, 2025, this deal is very serious. And if I was an Israeli, I would not throw it away. If I know that this deal is going to make the Hamas worshippers weak, I would take it. I would take it. I would do anything to stop my borders and build my protection. Any supporter who's going to protect my borders, I would take it. I would take it. Tell me one person who wouldn't. If they're going to help me protect my borders, my security, including Pakistan's going to join this deal, why on earth would I not take it? I mean, there's hate both directions, man. Like, of course it's a change. You're talking about a change of history, man. Yes, there's some who disagree with Israel. There's some Arabs who disagree. There's even some Pakistanis disagree, but some don't. But this is an entire religious change. History. It's no ordinary history. It's a big, big impact deal. Really big one. And to the Syrians, if they see this deal come true, that's like an impact in their entire society. Because they never pictured the Saudis would do that, like Yemen, right? I was reading a post what Yemen stated, and an Arab wrote this. Yemen have good food, but Saudi Arabia gave them language. And they still have disagreements with each other. I've never seen Yemen Arabs ever go to Saudi. I have not seen that. Some Yemens, I haven't seen one Yemen person have a good time in Saudi. When they're Arabs. They're Arabs, right? No. They don't have a good time in Saudi. And that only, what do you call it, a Saudi Arab can tell better. Why? Right? In my prediction here, I keep saying this, Iran is going to have a freak out attack if this time it comes true. If you believe in a real defeat doesn't come from violence. Real defeat comes with practical thinking. How to make your villain burn without you doing violence. And this deal, it's going to burn many. It's going to burn many. And if I have anybody Indian on here, who agrees with me? Who agrees with me? You know the Muslim world too, if I have anybody Indian on here. Right? It's going to burn many. It's going to make Iran mad. The Syrians out. The Palestinians, if they get the state. Guess what? Here's another thing I wanted to explain from this deal. Let's say Palestinians do get a teeny tiny Gaza into a state, right? Let's say they do, right? The Syrians are not going to have a purpose anymore to harass them. That's a win for Israel, because if they're not going to harass them, who are they going to, are they going to war themselves? Are they going to war themselves? Palestinians have a home now. They have a state. They have nothing to do with it. They have nothing to do with it. Hamas is disarmed. That's why the Muslim countries are there, because Saudi said straight up, I'm not going to waste a fucking penny. I'm not going to waste a freaking penny until Hamas is there. Saudi said it. I'm not going to waste one penny, one pinch to participate over there until Hamas is there. Which is why Hamas has to go. It has to go. Nobody wants it. Not just Israel, including the Arabs themselves. The only fishy boat here, which Saudi had an argument with, is Qatar. Qatar and, well, Turkey. So these guys, Israel does not trust. That's fine. They can keep their link to Syria, right? And sorry, somebody's cell phone's in here. They left it here, right? So, hi, Shabazz Khan. Any questions for today's stream? I want to hear everybody's opinion at this time. It matters, my friends. This deal is no ordinary deal. It's a big deal. There's going to be economy changes. There's going to be investments with each other. There's going to be tourings with each other. It's a really big deal. Somebody freaking left their phone here. So I want to know what you guys think of this deal. Let's hear some questions. Who agrees with this deal and who doesn't? Let's hear it. My fans. Who agrees with this deal and who doesn't? I'm telling you, it's going to make it easier on America. If these guys could make it work, America really would not have a reason to really babysit the Middle East, because they know that the Saudis and the Israelis can make it work together. It's a big change. It's no ordinary change. Yes, there's going to be people from all corners who are going to be like, oh, they're not trustworthy, because it's not like a one-day thing. It's a historical change that nobody pictured would ever come true. But it's going to come true for the better if you give it a chance. Everything you give a chance has a new beginning. That's how people took land. That's how people gave away land, which are countries today. I'll name one. Bahrain, right? Bahrain used to be part of Qatar. Just like I know some Israelis are sad that they have to give up, like, Judah, Samaria. Well, Bahrain used to be part of Qatar. Somebody can look it up. Now, Qatar, I don't know what happened in the middle. I'll post it one day, or I'll do a stream about this one day if I can find accurate information. Um, so Bahrain got its own self-independence. It's no longer part of Qatar. They have similar flags, but Bahrain has its own borders. It's no longer part of Qatar, even though it used to be part of Qatar, but it isn't. Mexico. Texas used to be part of Mexico. America took it, known as Texas, where I live, which is why there's so many Mexicans here. Compared to any other state in America, you're going to find the most Mexicans in Texas. And I learned that when I moved here in age 18. I didn't imagine that there would be that many Mexicans here, and I didn't know anything freaking about them, nothing at all, until I moved to Texas. What they eat, how they do, what they do. I learned that here compared to my friends in New York. Simple answer. Texas was part of Mexico. Look at this is recent. This is 2025. Remember when America wanted to take Canada and make it into the 51 state? Did you forget that this was 2025 when Trump said that why doesn't Canada become part of America and make it the 51 state? But Canada didn't agree. Canada's already a country. Why would it become a state? Why would it become part of America? It's a country. Real globes, man, like, they've always been like that. No matter what you do, no matter how much you want to, I know there's loss for everybody, but that's how the real globe history is. The British Empire, it did many things. It granted many nations independence. Some people were still stuck under British slavery. So everybody has done something. I don't want people to feel like, this is the baddest deal in the world and nobody should do it. No, give it a chance. Every change has a new beginning, and every change has new side effects. Every change has new education and what to terminate from the past. But if you're not going to give it a chance, you're never going to know. Who agrees with me? Yes or no? I want to be honest opinions. I listen to all my fan questions. Who agrees? Every change has new education, new things to old things to terminate, and new things to educate because of the peace agreement. And everybody in history has lost something. There's no such war in existence that didn't lose anything. Every war has a loss. Whether it's the people, the land. Peace agreement always comes on some agreement to the land. Like I said, America warred Mexico, and Texas, well, we call that Texas today. It was part of Mexico. Rosito Jaminas, I believe it's a Valencia flag. Hi, I can't read that. Can you speak in English? My first Valencia fan. Hi, hello Valencian member. You're my first member of the server community today. I don't think I've met anybody from Valencia. I've been speaking since 2023, and I have not met anybody from Valencia. How you doing? I'm going to give it a heart. My first member from Valencia. Right? Look, even America, they say Christians need to unite, and me and Christians friends talk about this all the time. You only got support from, like, UK, Australia, all these nations came after, right? But, like, what about, like, Russia, Nigeria, Valencia? They're all, like, in each other's circle. They're Christians countries, but they're all in each other's circle. Well, that's how the Muslim world is, too. It's divided. It's not the same. It's completely divided. Whatever Syrians and Palestinians and Iraqis agree with, the Saudis and UAEs do not agree with. Whatever is happening in Nigeria, Algeria, I believe it's Algeria, right? And Nigeria. UAE doesn't believe. Whatever's happening in Sudan, UAE does not believe, even though it gave it aid, but it does not agree with Somalia and Sudan's methods, right? It's a Muslim country, but they don't agree with each other's method or style. No. It's like me saying, okay, you're my friend, I can give you support and aid, But I'm not going to change your lifestyle. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Changing your lifestyle means you are changing the country, and that's why those countries are so against each other. Same for Christian countries. I wouldn't say they're not. Just like I said, look, why would Trump want to attack Valencia and Russia, compete with Russia? Lebanon's an old Christian country in history. You know, Christians have their own history, and not every single Christian has the same history like the West Christians. People need to understand that. Christians come from different particles of the globe because they have the most countries. But that doesn't mean they agree with each other. So I say this again, this deal is no ordinary deal. It's a serious impact historical deal that's going to impact many. Some people are going to move forward from it. Some people are going to be jealous from it. Some people are going to be yelling from it. Some people are going to move more closer and do business with Israel. Like, oh, wow, look at how they're doing. They're doing great, and they're exchanging stuff with each other. Because when you live in a hateful society, that's their society, okay? Look at Russian Orthodox, right? I know Christians like to support each other, but does that mean that those Christians are going to support American values as Christians? They're going to support Russian value first. But however they feel for America, how they're going to love the Christians, but not the country style. Same for here. When Saudi does this deal, there's going to be many nations be like, okay, we want to do it now. It's time to move on. And some nations are going to remain in their society how they lived for many, many years. But the only thing they cannot do, which is going to affect every single Muslim on the planet, is attack Saudi. Building a deal with Israel, they can't do anything. They can't attack Saudi back building a deal with Israel. It's like a complete defeat. Let's say it doesn't. Let's say it signs tomorrow, right? The only competitor that can attack, oh boy, I'm sick of that. Someone's mobile who's here. Sorry, guys. Somebody left his phone in here. The only competitor that can do something is Iran. But Iran now, Saudi has like Israel on the side, which has the support of Jordan. It has the support of Pakistan. It has the support of Azerbaijan. Indonesia is expected. So these are like quite an army behind Israel. It's no ordinary case. This is quite an army. It's part of the UAE. That's 9. This is quite an army versus Syria, Iran, and Iraq. And what Palestinians minus, if they get the state, they're going to have to follow Saudi rules if it's going to pay for it with approval of Israel, what they can have and what they can't have. So these are 3 nations, and Islamists are going to become weak, man. They're talking about 3 countries. What could they possibly do? What? Yemen, Iraq, Syria. Just 4. What could they possibly do versus 9 combined with Israel? 9. Here's Israel, Jordan, Saudi, UAE, Indonesia, Pakistan, Azerbaijan, right? 7 so far. 7 versus 4 is a complete defeat. And you're gonna say no to it? I gotta be crazy. I would say yes. Because it's gonna make my team build powerful. And America would be less involved because it can trust them to work together. Why wouldn't you want to do the agreement? Every agreement has a change, has a different side effect. There's 1 or 2 losses. There's no such war in existence that doesn't do that. So, any questions from my fans that they want to ask me specifically? I thought this was a reasonable thing because it's going to make it very easy on the Americans. It's going to be less for them to be stressful how Israel can be safe if Saudi works together with Israel. and it's going to make it less for them to ever turn to the Middle East, because Middle East nations, they're protected being together compared to four who just want to fight. Turkey, the only thing I can say for Turkey is it's been in a relationship with Israel for 70 years. You never know. I mean, hey, if it's been in a relationship with Israel for more than 70 years, if it sees the other people get along, maybe it'll just move on. But you don't know. But then again, Syria is part of Turkey. It's been part of Turkish empire. So Syria has its own personal little issues with Turkey. I know many people are afraid, sad, upset, like, oh no, what about the Alawites? What about the Druze? What about the Syrian Christians? But you know what? Let me tell you this something. There are Kashmiri Christians, Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Muslims, and they live under the Indian Empire. They don't have independence, okay? They live under the Indian Empire. Whatever India grants them, good, bad, whatever, they have to deal with it. They take the bus too. Some nations, even today, groups, rather you want to call them groups, they don't have independence. And some nations who still have independence are still taking the bus. Look at Nigeria. If Nigerian politicians, presidents, wanted to terminate Boko Haram, who's killing Christians and Muslims or anybody extra you could possibly think of, if the Christian politicians from Nigeria wanted to stop this, they have the power to do it. The question is, why aren't they? Why aren't they doing anything and so many people are getting massacred over there? It's common sense, something to think about, that why aren't they doing anything? Instead, who wants to help them, they say no. Like, oh, we don't need you. It's our country. We know how to take care of it. We don't need your help. That's all over X, the Nigerian president yelling at Trump or Ted Cruz that we don't need your help. We know what you're doing. We know what we're doing. We don't need your help. That's how things work around the globe, man. Some people take your advice, even when you're just doing them a favor. And even in that favor, they don't see it. You know? Not much can do. So that's my advice to everybody, that do not take this deal as a pussy deal. It's a very big deal. Very impactful, powerful deal. People just don't see it. People are just looking at, oh, what about the money? They didn't do anything for 77 years. They didn't do anything for previous years. Well, you know what? Prince Mohammed bin Salman was not in politicians for 77 years either. In the early days of Saudi, there were politicians who did, words from educated Arabs, who's told me that at one point when Muslim Brotherhood was new and Mohammed bin Salman was not the president, you could say some of the Saudi leaders, like his father or somebody like that, they were studying the Muslim Brotherhood. They sat in the meetings, but when they seen what the Muslim Brotherhood could do and how evil it is, that's when Saudi turned away. Okay, like, no. We don't want to make our country part of that. We want to keep our citizens safe. We don't want to be part of that. And he told every agency to ban the Muslim Brotherhood, right? Then Mohammed bin Salman came into society, which is the king's son. He gave Saudis a new way of life. He believed that the country needs a little bit of freedom. When he lived in Saudi all his life, part of a royal family, he gave the society a better living. He gave a new vision to the country. He started encouraging Saudis to make more relationships with other global nations. So when he's in charge, he's the one who's in charge. Yes, there's politicians above him, but why would you want to lose a good candidate who has similar visions as you? He's a practical guy, and he believes in secularism just like Prince Reza Pahlavi. Khamenei's not secular. Khamenei's a freaking extremist who believe in abuse. Khamenei's nothing like that. Putin's like that too. But Prince Reza Pahlavi, yes, he was a Muslim. Look it up if you don't believe it. Just do a little homework. Who was Reza Pahlavi? He was a Shia Muslim, but he believed in secularism. That's when all of Iranians had freedom. Do whatever you want, but just keep it like under the country stuff, just like America, right? He gave everybody those freedoms, like go what you need to do and no abuse, but just be respectful to the country, how America is, right? Same here, right? Until Khamenei came. Same here. When Mohammed bin Salman came into the country, he made the changes, and he encouraged the Arab nations to move forward to make more business with other nations and make some changes into the country. And I feel that the Israeli politicians, they have a good component to make deals with. If he's not the one, then I would have told you myself as a personal person that he's not. But he is. He believes in secularism. He believes in a good society. That's what Israel is. Secular country. It's not a religious extremist Jewish country. It's a secular country. So why wouldn't you want to give this deal a chance? Terminate the extremists and just change everything around you. Build better securities with Arabs and Jews combined. Protect your borders. Build joint agreement. Everything. If I'm an Israeli, right, and I'm just gonna cry that, hey, I'm about to lose Judah and Samaria, when I myself, I don't even know how often am I gonna go there. How often am I gonna go there? How often? Am I gonna move there? What if Israeli politicians told me that, hey, nobody has money to support the war? So guess who's left? Local Israeli citizens. Would I choose my job, my apartment, or would I choose to support Judah Samaria? I would choose my job. I would choose my job. I would know that, hey, we've been in war for 2 years. I can't afford another year of war. I can't afford without my shekel job to feed my children. I have bills to pay to the government, as in the Israeli government, with my shekel money. Yeah, I'm going to choose myself then to participate it over there, because I have to pay the government. I have to pay the government rent. I have to pay my government bills with the shekels. I have to do a lot of things with those shekels. I would think wisely. You can only gain one. And that's what I'm saying, guys. Make a consideration about this deal. This deal is an impact in historical change. You're going to see new villains. New people have new visions. New people have shock attacks. Some people are going to be jealous. Some people are going to have a panic attack how this happened, and some people are going to step forward. That's how things work. If you're going to all be in one box for the rest of your life, all because what history says, history never remains the same. History changes. Every few decades, it changes. That's why there's history books. So I say for this, give history a new ending. Don't live in the same ending that you've been living. Give it a new ending, new beginning, new chapter, new details, new things to teach in society, especially knowing what happened after October 7th. Give it a new change. And every new beginning has new chapters. Nothing remains the same, ever. Ever. Any new questions before I close out the stream? Any other questions before I close out the stream? If anybody who feels I educated something false, please be my guest. Please be my guest. If not, then yeah. If you feel you do not agree with me, please be my guest. But please tell me, do you feel this is a deal, this is wrong? And it's gonna make it much easier for the Americans. Because now Americans would not really need to babysit the Middle East if people come to an agreement to protect each other. What the Americans are trying to do for decades, that, hey, you guys work together, protect each other from evil societies. Like, I know Valencia is a beautiful country. I like everything about Valencia. It's beautiful. But, of course, there's evil organizations. If you work together, you can terminate them out for the Middle East, right? Nigeria has Boko Haram. Valencia has its own problems with organizations. Work together, terminate it out. Why are you working alone? What are you going to get working alone? Yes, when people say, oh, we've been surviving for 77 years. Well, you know what? All the leaders didn't work for 77 years. Some are dead. They were different leaders yesterday. There are different leaders today. The leaders that thought about vision yesterday are not as the same as the leaders today. Hello, life, politicians, leaders, whoever were your leader 77 years ago, they had another vision versus the leader today in this society. They had their own vision 77 years ago. These leaders have their own vision 77 years after. So I hope I educated people enough. And I know people are like monitoring the Middle East. Every change has a new beginning, and if you're a Muslim person on my channel, especially from Pakistan, I know India would laugh at me if I said this. Um, Look, if Qaid Azam said that, oh gee, we can never recognize Israel, he died in the year that Israel was made. Okay? He didn't last that long after Pakistan. He died in the year that Israel was made, and after that, how many times have Palestinians gone into a war? How many times? I'm not going to reveal my name. It is what it is. Why do you need to know my name, Sherbas Khan? Why do you need to know my name? Only my community members get to know my name who are in my Discord. And you're not in my Discord. And I'm going to ask you a question first. Why? After 1948, the Palestinians and Jordanians, all the Arabs got into multiple wars. And then Syrians got into their own separate wars. The fact that people are mixing up history thinking that Black September was linked to Israel. Why would Black September be linked to Israel? Israel was not that, it was new on the market. It's not that powerful yet. Jordan was here. Pakistan was here. Israel's just new on the market. It's just getting developed. So why would it participate in Black September? People are mixing up that history into mixed up history without having to understand that the Arabs also had differences and fights. Take a look at the Syrians. Well, being there, how many times have Syrians fought with different countries? Well, Israel being there. Not every single one of their wars linked to Israel. They had some more personal wars with other neighbors. And that's what people do not want to talk about. It's a fact. Anybody can do homework. You can want to prove me wrong, just do a little homework. How many times have the Syrians fought away from Israel's chapter? A lot. Same for the Iraqis. A lot. Yemenites. A lot. Israel's just a tool piece on the land. Today, tomorrow, attack it today, but that's not their complete war history. There's more history before that. And it's time for people to just move on. Stop worrying. Start a new beginning. Save your money. Build a better future. Better living. Everything. How long are you going to survive like this? Just keep killing your land? When I looked at Syria, it is damn freaking beautiful. And it makes me sad that why do Syrians think like that? When you have a land that freaking beautiful, even Iraq's beautiful, man. Why destroy it with all this wars? Okay, religions came through some wars, okay. But how long are you going to keep continuing on paper? That's what my brother said. They live in a different society. Pakistanians and Saudis and UAEs live in a different society. They believe in a better of a country, better of the people, fit in with other countries, touring with other countries, meeting other countries. Across Israel's side, they don't believe in that society. But they will once this deal is made. And Saudis combined with Israel, they can't do anything. And I told you, combining with Israel and anybody who dare to war the Saudi in Israel's favor, you're not looking at an ordinary war. You're going to look at a Muslim army like, excuse me, you ain't attacking the holy places. No, no. Israel has a good thing right here, and the Muslim community has a big thing right here too. And when the Palestinians get their mini teeny tiny space, Syrians are going to be concerned that, okay, but we need to use them for liberation. We need to use them for liberation. What do we do? But they have a state. Little tiny, whether it's a tiny state or a big, whatever. Tiny state. Syrians can't use Palestinians anymore. They have a mission. They're done. They have a state. They have a living. Syrians won't be able to use them anymore. So trust your instincts and trust in disagreements. There's so much to see from disagreement. You just don't see it yet, but it's there. That's my message to everybody who's an Israeli or American or somewhere else around the world. Trust this deal. We're going to be opening new surprises, new changes, new chapters, people who cut away or are ready to step forward in this deal as well. A lot to be discovered. Do not throw it away, my friends. Don't. Biggest mistake if you throw this. It's a box of gold, of power, and get stronger. Right now, people think as in America as a clown. No. America will not have to really babysit the Middle East anymore if you guys can take care of each other in a better form with power. What will it do? Nothing. You have all these countries combined with Israel. They're going to do their part for protection, just like how they're doing to Gaza right now, with Israel approval, right? And the Palestinians want to be free. If I have somebody who's telling me, you're not going to get free from Hamas like that, you need to be free from Hamas and have a state and have a normal life. I don't talk about liberation bullshit. That's Hamas script. You're going to get free, you're going to get a state, and that's how you're going to be living from now on. No more excuses. Okay? And this demand is from Saudi. Get Hamas out so construction of your state begins. If you're not going to make Hamas leave, you're not going to get anything. Simple as that, if you're a Palestinian supporter. Kick Hamas out so Saudi can build you a state and start living like normal people. That's my response to this Palestinian supporter. Kick Hamas out so your state construction starts and you can have a normal life. Or what life are you living for the past decade? Just fight? Nobody has time to fight 24/7. Nobody. And lands, as far as their land, many people had to give up their land. Sorry. Look at Qatar and Bahrain's story. Hello life. That's how it worked. So you owned it for some time. Now the Israelis don't own it. Whatever you want to say about it. Sorry. That's how history is written for everybody. And how God made it. It's not yours anymore. You have to deal with what you have. And if you can't, I'm sorry. But Hamas is not going to stay for you. It has to go. It's an Arab command. You stay, Hamas is going to go, you're going to get a state, a teeny tiny one, whatever, that's what you're going to deal with. So your chapter, because people are tired of babysitting. People are really tired of your chapter. You guys been fighting for what, since 1948, like babies? And Hamas came when you got Gaza on the agreement with Bill Clinton. You invited Hamas and you just started warring for past decades like idiots. Come on, man. You do war, then your people die, and then you say, look at what they did to us. They also given you jobs, they given you water. So why condemn in war that your people get killed and the people who are giving you stuff, their stuff gets killed too? And what do you gain? Nothing. Nothing. So I say it. If you're a Palestinian supporter on my page, sorry. Hamas has to go. Your little teeny tiny state you're going to get, that's going to be your home from now on. That's all you're going to get. No further than that. Nobody has money. I'm sorry. So I hope I explained everybody really, really well about this deal. And I'm going to get ready to close the stream. And I want people to remember, again, every new change has a new start, new chapter, new beginning, new things to add, what to terminate and what to keep. So children know this is agreement after a war. Every war has its ending, agreement, changes, everything. And that's basically what happened. Alrighty, so I hope everybody had a wonderful time on my stream. I did stream a little bit late today because I was out and I had to help my child at the clinic, so I wasn't able to really come around. So I hope people have a wonderful day, and if you have any questions for me or topics you want to talk about, feel free to join me. I have members from Iran, Israel, Pakistan, all over the place basically. And I would love to have somebody from Valencia enter. You're my first Valencian flag member. Feel free to come in. And yes, Shabazz, if I see you doing anything in the server, you're going to get red flag. But other than that, you're welcome to come in. I have mods in there. Watch everything who inform me. You're welcome to come in. Just follow the community guidelines, okay? So take care, guys. I'm going to get ready to close this. And I hope everybody enjoyed my stream and understand how important this deal is, okay? It's no ordinary deal. It's a really serious impact deal. And if you're going to mess it up, Palestinians are not going to get the state. You're just going to welcome yourself a box of worms. America's going to be stuck babysitting how it's babysitting now. And you're going to let the Islamists win. That, okay, no Saudi in the way, we can do whatever we want. Bingo. Why would you want to throw that away? No. Big time. Take it. Take care, guys. I'm gonna get ready to close. All right? I'm glad everybody understood. And if you have any questions, reach out to me in my community. Bye bye.